How are you guys doing? My name is Chris Matthews. I'm your relationship coach and licensed marriage and family therapist. And in this video today, I'm going to introduce you guys to the 4 parenting styles. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to start with authoritarian parenting style. So authoritarian parenting style, I like to call the old school way of parenting. And that's typically going to align with certain traits such as the parent believing kids should be seen but not heard. It's more about because I said so. As the parent, their goal is to inflict order, rules, punishment, and they do not have a relationship with the kid. It's more about my way or the highway. And don't get me wrong, I don't believe that parents with this style have negative intentions. A lot of time, this style comes from what we may have seen as a child ourselves. So I know personally, growing up in a household with mom and dad, that come from the old school way. My parents are in their late 60s now, and it was taught to us that we were supposed to do exactly what the parent says. As you look at more of a new school parenting approach, as research has been done, you'll see that way of parenting has some pros, but yet more cons. One of the pros with the authoritarian parenting style is that the child is going to usually be more likely to follow rules. There's a cost though, however, but at the end of the day, these kids will be evoked by fear to do exactly what the parent says. Some of the cons are that the parent will implement punishment and not discipline. So what is the difference? Punishment is usually designed to evoke pain because of a negative action. Discipline is used as a teaching mechanism or tool to illustrate that there's a consequence for an action. However, that consequence can be good or bad. So for example, in discipline, my child, I have a 13-year-older and he was starting school. And the day before he started school, he had some dirty dishes in his room. And my wife and I told him, hey, you can't eat up in your room because you're not bringing the dishes down. So the day before school, we found the dishes in his room and we took his cell phone away. And he was just upset. You can imagine, middle school age kid, day before school, they use their phone to share contacts, videos, all those cool things. And he said, Dad, it's the day before school. Any other day, I would be fine with this punishment, but can you lay off just because it's the first day of school? And I asked him, I said, when you're driving to work, let's say it's your first day at work and you run through a red light or you speed, that cop's going to write you a ticket. They're not going to care it's your first day at work. So I had to implement that punishment to demonstrate discipline, to teach a lesson. Although it hurt him, and I don't like to see my kid upset or in pain, obviously, but at the end of the day, I knew I had to demonstrate that lesson now. So later on in life, he'll understand that the consequences will have an action despite if it's inconvenient. The next parenting style number 2, authoritative. Authoritative parents tend to put a lot of effort into creating and building a strong relationship with your child or the child. A positive relationship that you build with your child is critical because at the end of the day, that child won't always be a kid. At some point in time, that child's going to transition into an adult. And I believe as parents, it's our job to train our children to be adults, to be self-sufficient individuals that can take care of us one day as well. When you think about the stages of life and transformation, at some point, if you do a good job parenting and the child comes out right, then they'll be there to take care of you. So it is a give and take. So that relationship can start very early. Even before the kid is talking, that relationship and bond is critical. Research shows that a parental connection is actually established within the first 5 years of life. So that first 5 years, you're developing that connection, that relationship. Another characteristic, authoritative parents also are very big on validating their children's feelings. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to cave in. I have a daughter who is 3, and she is extremely emotional, only at 3, right? And I hate to see her upset or disappoint her. She has me wrapped around her finger, as my wife would say, but I know that if I don't implement certain discipline strategies such as bedtime, making sure that she brushes her teeth, do those things now that later on in life she won't be healthy. So it's very critical that you are validating and implementing those discipline strategies in regards to a relationship. Another piece too, authoritative parents do a good job of preventing behaviors from happening. If you've had children that are under the age of 5, I'm sure you've been out in public and you went a little bit too long going shopping or running errands, and the kid misses their nap time and they're yelling and they're irate and they're screaming and they're hollering, and that is obviously embarrassing because people are looking around at you. But that's an example of how it can be prevented. So I do a good job of making sure we don't skimp out on naps. We make sure that the kids get the sleep they need, the proper nutrition, because we're now preventing them from exhibiting behaviors that are unfavorable. So what are some of the pros that come with authoritative parenting? A huge pro is that parents who take an authoritative style of parenting tend to produce children with high levels of esteem, children who are self-thinkers and that can be responsible for their own choices and actions. So that's critical. You want to make sure your kid is being put in a position when you're not there to choose the right things to do or to not do. So that's critical as well, because you want your child to be prepared for life beyond just your home. Some of the cons, and I don't really think of these as cons, they're just more of what comes with being an authoritative parent. It's going to require a little bit additional patience. There are going to be moments where it's going to be easier just to yell at your kid, but to have that patience to instruct them on why you need them to do what it is you're asking. It's also going to require a little bit more effort and energy. And that effort and energy is going to be more in this particular parenting style than the others, because the other piece is that it's going to require that you constantly work on yourself, you work on your marriage, and you work on your co-parenting relationship. What do I mean by that? So when my wife and I have discussions pertaining to our parenting, for example, if I say to my wife, hey, I noticed that when one of the kids made a mess, you immediately ran in and cleaned it up for them. How about we look at showing them how to clean their own messes up? That's my wife and I having that dialogue. That takes work to be co-parents that implement an authoritative parenting style. So the energy in building myself is there as well. I'm constantly reading books, listening to videos like this I'm doing now with you guys to understand the values of the parenting styles. Because at the end of the day, parenting is hard. I get it. I have 3 children, and it's so easy just to be like, don't ask me, just do it. Or you're rushing, and they don't have insight into our adult world. They don't realize that that extra 10 minutes that we woke up late now may cause them to miss the school bus. They may not understand that they're in a bad mood because we didn't have Lucky Charms, but at the end of the day, I need to get to work. So those moments where you can be frustrated with your child are gonna not go away, but with this authoritative parenting style, you'll be more likely to catch yourself. The third parenting style, permissive parenting. A permissive parent is, in short, someone who wants to be their child's friend. And the friend wants to always be in the child's favor. So parents who implement a permissive parenting style, they really don't set rules. They don't have a lot of boundaries. And if they do have rules, they don't enforce them. The kid can get away with what they want. The consequences are very far and few between. These parents only really come out with serious problems, and they'll tend to put on a show. It's the parent that comes up to the school yelling and hollering and screaming at everybody, but then when they get in the car, the conversation cease and they don't particularly really want to correct the child's behavior. These parents also provide privileges beyond the developmental stage. So that may look like allowing your kid to just stay up as long as they want, not have a particular time to go to sleep. Permissive parents also are ones who are very lenient when it comes to giving in. So the kid may say, Mom, what about next time? I promise I won't do it. Well, okay, you don't have to be on punishment. And there are a lot of cons that come with this parenting style. First and foremost, parents that are permissive usually have kids who have higher rates of dropout in school and academic failure. And the reason why is because these children never had the structure to understand the importance of discipline so they can make choices even when the parent's not around. Another piece, these children usually have low self-esteem. They also have higher risk of health problems. And I'm going to break that down for you. If a permissive parent doesn't stand their ground when it comes time to dietary choices, when it comes time to hygiene, such as taking a shower, brushing your teeth, then that kid is going to adapt negative behaviors that they're going to implement over the course of their life, which will lead to them not being as healthy. So the fourth and final parenting style, it's uninvolved parenting. And this fourth and final parenting style, I also like to call neglectful. A parent who's uninvolved doesn't really care about their kids' homework, their schooling, their health. Matter of fact, uninvolved parents don't even know where the kid's at most of the time. And these children tend to grow up not feeling loved. They tend to grow up seeking or latching on to anybody who gives them any type of validation or affirmation, whether it be someone that doesn't have their best interest. These children also are not introduced to rules or authority whatsoever, so they usually will have higher incarceration rates. These children will also be ones who don't see value in who they are because they never had a parent to demonstrate that affirmation and value within their lives as they were growing up. So I just took a moment to introduce you guys to the 4 parenting styles. I don't want anyone watching this video to feel judged. Parenting is hard. People's situations are different. My wife and I, we became parents real young, unexpectedly. And each child, we've gotten better, but we've made the intentional effort to invest in understanding and learning how to be better people so we could be better parents. I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out more videos like this. We also have a parenting unit in our understanding course for couples, how to feel understood. So that course has a big unit on co-parenting and making sure that you guys out there together in marriages, blended family relationships, what have you, can obtain these skills. Once again, my name is Chris Matthews. I'm your relationship coach, licensed marriage and family therapist, and it's been a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side.
You can never go back.